Hi guys! It's Monday and I am so excited to continue with the dailies. Today we've got a special guest. Her name is Adora Mba. She's a very close friend of mine, and let's get her on. Great. She's just connecting. Hi Adora!
Hi.
How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm good. I'd never done this before, and I was like, "Oh, wonderful. Okay, cool."
I seem to be like getting everyone's first with Instagram Live, but I think everyone will probably get addicted to it after a while.
Yeah, it's neat. I literally didn't know it could do things like this. So thank you.
So, Adora, for those that don't know who you are, please can you introduce yourself?
Hi everybody. My name is Adora Mba. I am the founder of the Afropolitan Collector. The Afropolitan Collector is an art advisory digital platform that supports, promotes, and acquires contemporary art pieces from African artists and artists in the African diaspora in the Sun. I basically buy and sell art for like cool people.
And mainly the African market as well.
Yes, and well, actually, no. My buyers are international, from everywhere from Brazil to South Korea, to be honest with you. But it's the artists are predominantly African or Black American or any diasporan, Black British, but predominantly African artists. Yeah.
Super cool. So, Adora, what influenced you to start your own business and like start, Afropolitan Collector?
Well, the Afropolitan Collector actually was a blog. I used to be a journalist. Well, back. I used to be in PR. Then I was a journalist. And when I was a journalist, I was a producer for arts and culture for BBC Africa and other international stations. And I used to write art articles for like The Economist and other publications. And I actually got told by my editor at BBC to start a blog about African art, which back then, about 6 years ago, no one was really knew much about the market. So the blog got very popular and a lot of people started asking me to buy pieces for them or to acquire pieces for their collection or work with institutions. So that then naturally became an advisory, and now it is what it is now, which is essentially acquiring pieces for private clients, for banks, for corporations, for institutions, doing collaborations and getting artists out there on a international scale.
People that don't know, you live in Ghana. Do you feel
yes,
that
I'm
living in Ghana?
now. That's why I'm sweating so much. It's so hot.
Well, the sun's out here. I wouldn't say it's freezing, but I wouldn't say it's very warm either.
Yeah.
But living in Ghana, do you feel that you are? Do you meet more artists? Do you think like being there is much better located than being in London, for instance?
Yes and no. I feel that London is the contemporary art hub for a lot of markets, not just the African art market. But the reason why I moved back to Ghana was because I wanted to be able to discover artists myself. And I felt that it's easier to fly from here to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, to Kenya than it is doing the London flights. So and I wanted to discover more talent in Ghana as well in particular, because I think after South Africa and after Nigeria, it's like the next potential big art space on the continent. So that's why I came back, and I'm glad. I've been here now 3 years. I mean, I still go to London stuff, of course. I see you guys, and I travel a lot, yeah, this is home for the meantime.
And how do you find these artists? Do you find them through social media, word of mouth, or just like you going on like a discovery in a car and just seeing things around with Nelson?
Social media has been very instrumental in not just discovering, but actually my business. But Instagram has changed the way institutions and galleries and just art dealers find artists now, because there's a platform that you can see these people. Before, it was purely word of mouth, or what the auction house told you, or what the art publications told you. But now, you know, I literally get messages from artists in my Instagram, and then I'll have a look at their pages, and I'm mesmerized by what I see. Or I put in something as simple as hashtag contemporary African art or hashtag African art, and you will just see billions and billions of different types of artists. So it's hard because there's a lot out there, but not all of it is, you know, top notch. But the artists I have discovered has been by chance, mainly by chance, or word of mouth. I mean, some artists I was told about an artist actually that years ago, or a year ago, who's doing very well now, who was based in Vienna. Shout out to Marco. A friend of mine saw his artwork in an art fair in Vienna, just walking on the streets with her family, and was like, oh, I see this African artist. Took a photo and sent it to me. So I get things like that, which is wonderful, from friends or peers around the world. But Instagram has been my main go-to to discover, and then I'll go see them in real life if I think they're worth the ticket.
So, for instance, with the artist that was discovered in Vienna, and now that he's become quite big, does it give you quite a lot of satisfaction and hope for that market, being like, there's a huge space for it?
I mean, all the publications, look, when I started, like, I've loved art since I was a kid. My dad's a collector. I wanted to be an artist myself, but of course, African parents, no, you cannot. So I had to do something else. But I've always loved art. And I think I was one of the first, like, it's a very new market. It's a new, like, they call it hot, because we've always known there's been amazing artists. Like my dad and my grandparents and a lot of our parents actually knew we had great artists on the continent, but in the international scale, it's only recently that it's now the hot, you know, the hot thing. So all the publications are talking about it. But when you meet these guys, that some of the artists that are doing really well now, were the guys I used to interview like 5-6 years ago, like Moffat Takadiwa, who just got acquired by Jay-Z and has like a huge now network, Swiss Beats, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and people are like collecting him in America. Or, you know, Mwaka, who I met here in Ghana, literally on the streets, on the beach, who's now like at the Rubel Museum, and his work's going for 200K and 600K. And
wow.
Hi, Steph.
And when you first met them, how much were their paintings going for at the time?
Oh my God! When I first met my lads, actually they reported it. When I first met Mwaka, his works went for $5K USD. He's now 200, primary market 200. When I first met Moffat Takadiwa, about the same, 4,000, 3,000 pounds. He's now about 100 and something. Yeah, like I think the reason why they love African art in particular as an industry is because it's for those who want to invest. It's like the best game, because it's you know, low input, big returns. So if you get in there early, nurture these incredible artists. The guys that you bought work for $5,000 or £5,000 can end up, you know, being worth 100, 200. Jadika in LA, $1 million. I mean, so it's that's the kind of industry it is. So now everybody is like really on my case, and I'm very busy. Thank you, because after for so long being like, hey, check out this artist, everyone's like, no, we'd rather get a Banksy print.
Now they're like,
oh, Adora. Now they're like, oh, Adora, that guy you sent me an email of 2 years ago.
And
so it's good. Yeah.
Do you feel that in terms of your industry, it's good to have a physical space, or that you're able to do this all digitally?
I've done it digitally for 4 years, but I personally want a physical space because I want to own a gallery, and the brick and mortar is more. I think there's something about coming into a space and seeing the works. But it's not necessary, because honestly, I mean, even now with this Corona thing, a lot of galleries did digital galleries and walkarounds and online, and it worked very well. People were buying work more than ever. I think Sotheby's just had the African art auction and went up 40% of bidders than, you know,
wow.
because they did it online. So I know I'm definitely going to have a digital side to it, even if I have a real physical space. For me, more it's just because there's still so many rules about applying to art fairs and things like that. Like if I want to show at an art fair, international art fair like Basel and stuff, I have to be a gallery. I have to have a physical space. I think if the rules change and anyone can show that just represents artists, then maybe I wouldn't have one. But I do want one still. I want to walk into the gallery. I want to walk into my gallery. So
Manifest it. You'll get it. You'll get it. And who would you say are like the top 3 African artists that we should be looking at the moment?
Oh my God, that's hard. There's so many. It depends. Okay. If you have a lot of money to spend, like a hell of a lot of money to spend, I would say invest in Ella Natsui, invest in Amwako Wafo, and invest in Julie Metra. If you have mid amount of money to spend, I would say invest in Toyin or Tutola. I would say invest in Ruby, Onyechi, Amanze, and I'd say invest in Ndidi MFL. 3 very powerful, very amazing Nigerian female artists who are killing it. Oh, wow. And if you are new to the market, I would say invest in Collins Obiajuku, who's brand new, amazing, incredible artist, and I'm working with her at the moment. Invest in goodness, I have to not remember everyone's names, and a couple more, but I will put it on the best place to go is to my Instagram, and you will see who you should invest in. Oh, Peter Uka, massively, definitely him. Oh God, yes. Yeah, he's
and when we
great.
put it, and when we put the podcast on Spotify, we'll also list the artist's names so you guys can have a direct link to see their work.
Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. There's a lot.
And so on the topic of your brand, what has been the best way to market it?
Me personally, I found that hi Lily. I found Instagram and to be really incredible. I think for me personally, word of mouth and Instagram have gone hand in hand. The power of a network and knowing that Marina?
Sorry, I'm here, sorry.
No, I was going to say that the power of a network has been incredible. I think I've had amazing friends and amazing peers, and because I used to go to all these exhibitions and meet all these artists and art curators and gallerists for many years, and it's a very small industry, you know, the African art one. So everyone kind of introduces. So we all work together and want to build the market. So, you know, there's a lot of collaborations and there's a lot of recommendations. So I've been recommended by so many people to do things, which I'm so grateful for. Like, you know, the hotel thing I'm doing now was recommendation by a family member, and then all these other things. But then Instagram as well has been insane, because I wouldn't have collectors from parts of the world that I have never. I mean, I have a collector in South Korea. Isn't that incredible? I have never met him in my life, and yet we have a great relationship. I've sold him works from incredible artists, building his, you know, his collection. I mean, even another one, I'm going to drop in a famous one, Black Coffee. Hi, Nasty. Yeah, you know, someone like that. I would never have had that kind of rapport with someone like Black Coffee or someone like my collectors in South Korea or this doctor in Brazil. It wasn't for Instagram. You know, Instagram has really kind of made the reach, you know, worldwide, which I'm so grateful for, because now I can reach people in all parts of the world that I never would have been able to before.
Oh, amazing. And so if anyone were wanting to go to the art industry, what would be your best advice?
I would say, first and foremost, you've got to be in it because you love it. All of us in this industry are obsessed with art. It's not a thing you do just to make money. You hardly ever make money. Yeah. It's a thing you do because you are obsessed with art. I mean, you've got to live, breathe it. I'm that person that can talk about artists. I love looking at art. I would say immerse yourself in it as much as possible. So read articles, speak to artists, go online, look at images that you love, visit museums, visit galleries, just get involved like physically and proactively to learn about the market, and not just even your own market. Like, I know I work in contemporary African art and in that space, but I read a lot about the international space and what is going on in other contemporary markets to understand trends and analytics, and maybe even then incorporate it into what I want to do. But I think the number one thing is you've got to love art. If you don't love art, you're in the wrong place, because we're all obsessed with it so much that it's quite weird.
You live and breathe it. Amazing advice. Yeah. Amazing advice. Thanks, Adora. And so I've now gone to our last question. So what is your one wardrobe tip? but I'll also give you several because I know your wardrobe.
You know my wardrobe.
Yeah.
My wardrobe tip. Oh, I'm like the worst person for fashion because I dress like a hobo. I'm a very chic hobo, I like to think, but I literally live in jeans. So, but I always say, maybe because I have to travel a lot, dress comfortably. I wear black 99.9% of the time, so wear black. No, I always say be comfortable. Dress for who you are, not what people say. I'm not a big believer in dressing to impress. I think I dress for how I feel, because your personality and who you are shines through. Clothes are just clothes at the end of the day. So yeah. Is that a good tip?
Great. Thank you so much, Adora. We so enjoyed having you, and I really feel quite like, you know, I've learned a lot. I really want to research more about those artists you said.
Yes, you should buy art. All of you, buy art for me. Buy art for Adora. Quick.
Okay, well, thanks, Adora. See